Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SportsPoint, brought to you by Pointer Studios. I am your host, Jacob Spoerl. Joined here to my right, we've got Brett McNamara and Liam Statz. Gentlemen, it is so glad to be back. How are you guys doing?
Oh, I'm great. I'm having a great time being back on campus.
Hockey is the best sport.
I disagree, but yeah.
I disagree, but yeah.
You're both wrong every time. You guys are both wrong.
So, did you guys enjoy your spring break? We had a week away.
I didn't get to do spring break. I worked the whole time.
You didn't get to do it? How does one do it?
Because I worked the whole way through.
I worked over 80
every
hours.
second?
Pretty much.
Yep.
All right, Brett, what did you do?
I worked over 80 hours.
80 hours?
Fleet Farm.
Getting that bank. All right,
okay,
there we
yeah.
go.
And DoorDash. And DoorDashing.
And DoorDash. He did both.
All right, that's fine. No, we see where
Yeah.
your head's at.
What did you do?
What did I do?
I forgot what you
I
did.
made sure that the radio station burned down twice.
Are you feeling
Twice?
left out, Liam?
I am feeling left out right now.
What?
At this moment
Burned
in time.
down twice?
Dude, the radio station is working as intended, and there's nothing wrong with it at all.
I was going to say that's... Anyway, back to more safer conversation. Let's get started. We're very glad to be back. Start off with the crowning champion segment. Originally, I was going to do Derek Queen, but upon writing the script, I actually rewatched the video where he would shoot the game-winning fadeaway shot. Shout out Lexi Hall, former basketball legend, high school basketball legend, and current producer here at the studio, was like, isn't that a travel? That was a travel.
That way.
We rewatched. It was definitely a travel.
You could argue Eurostep, but I'd say that he went
No,
from the three-point line to the basket.
It was travel, which is unfortunate because that was like probably the best end. Not probably. It was the best ending to a March Madness game up to this point.
So far, which is very.
We're gonna talk about it,
Yeah.
but
So
I guess
mid. It's March
because of
Madness.
that, I'll replace him with Walter Clayton Jr. For the Florida Gators, just because he hit 2 clutch threes in the final minute and a half against. Oh, who were they playing? It wasn't Norfolk. That was first round. Who were they playing in the second round?
UConn.
Oh yeah, they were playing UConn. They were getting beat
Dan
the whole
Hurley
game.
is so mad right
He
now.
is an a-hole.
Okay, actually,
I can't
I'll save
say
it for
that.
March Madness.
Okay,
I will.
we'll save it for
Yep.
that. But that is my crowning champion. Let's move on to Brett. Who's your crowning champion this week?
Yeah, Brett, who's your crowning champion?
My crowning
Brett?
champion is Amir Khan. He's the manager of the McNeese State men's basketball
That's
team.
goated.
And this man has all the aura in the world. Jacob, you need to take some notes.
Okay, right now I'll be doing it.
He comes out hyping up the whole team every single game while playing music on his boom box. So, I mean, this is kind of compared to I think it was TCU, or no, Kansas State a couple of years ago. Where they played like Low Down by Lil Baby. No, this guy, he's got aura. And they all wear shirts of him and everything. He's amazing. But anyways, he's racked up over $100,000 at NIL deals and is going with his former head coach from McNeese State, Will Wade, to NC State and will become
I didn't know that.
top manager there too. So, well, Will Wade was announced going to NC State before they were eliminated from the tournament.
First off, Red Lightning, Frankie Grizzle Mulgrat, walked so that these guys could run. If neither of you guys know who that is, I need you to look him up right now. I guarantee you've seen him around at some point. He's the ball boy on the sideline of the FSU Seminoles, like in 2016. He was that guy with like the really
For the football?
Yeah, for their
I
football
think
team.
I think I have
yeah,
seen
that guy walked so that these guys could run, and I will hear no slander.
There wasn't any slander.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm just making sure that there's not going to be any
okay,
slander.
I was going to say, I didn't see anything about this guy until the day of that game where it was Clemson and McNeese State, which for a lot of the people that did make March Madness brackets, the Clemson upset kind of sold a part of my bracket. I think I had him going, I don't remember if it was either the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. Either way, it screwed me up. That was probably the biggest blow to mine. But he has a lot of aura. So are you saying in order for me to have more aura, I need to come into every episode with a boombox, hyping you guys up, and you have to wear T-shirts with my face on it? That's what you're saying. Because that can be arranged.
You
That
and me
might be
can
the
wear a
most
T-shirt with your
narcissist-
face on it, but this guy over here's got to wear a T-shirt. Right here it says the Tons.
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh, I'm sorry, because he definitely hit that the second
He
game-winning
had
shot.
37
Definitely
points,
hit the
Liam. I don't
only
wanna
shot
hear
that
it.
mattered in that game. Sure,
Liam,
100%.
Top
didn't-
three Badger of all
Liam,
time.
didn't you
What's
send
up?
a
What's up?
post today that where John Tonje was the leading scorer in
Yes,
March Madness so far?
as of right now, by 1 point, yeah.
You sent
Despite the team being eliminated. Yeah, I did.
that. I feel like that kind of goes against the argument. But anyway, Liam, who is your crowning champion for this week?
You and me got beef now.
I'm gonna throw a
Insert
shoe.
LeBron meme.
I'm gonna jump over the table.
Insert LeBron meme.
Yeah. Oh the amount of.
Dude, no, like, first off, you got all the videos I sent you of that. It's just, I
That's
don't know.
a great crowning champion.
I don't know
Tell me
what's
more.
happening
Tell
about
me
it.
more about that
Yeah?
crowning champion. Who's your crowning champion, Liam?
You don't. Kirsten Sims, she's a forward for the UW Badger women's hockey team. Shout out them for winning their 8th national championship. She scored the game-tying goal off the penalty shot in the same fashion that the Pointers actually lost in the WIAC tournament, by the way. Player covered their hand on the puck in the crease, and it was awarded a penalty shot. Mark Johnson says, "Who wants it?" Kirsten Sims says, "Me." Hand up right away. We saw that was live. It's confirmed. And she scores with 18.9 seconds left to go to tie the game. And then in overtime, she scores the game-winning goal to send the Badgers to their 8th national championship, which is the most by any women's program, and it's tied for the 3rd most of any Division I program. And also, because of that, with the Badgers men's hockey team 6 combined with the women's 8, that leads them to 14, which is the most total by any
For
school.
school? Wow. Congrats. I know, I saw it.
We run
They
the
won.
Big Ten. We run college.
So fun fact,
hockey.
In hockey?
there is no
Yeah.
Big Ten hockey for women's. Yeah, it's the WCHA. In fact,
The which hall? Which hall?
the WCHA. So a little bit of a nerd moment, but college hockey is really unique in that, especially at the D1 level, the Big Ten is the only tournament that has other sports besides hockey. Everything else is like hockey only conferences. So like think of the NCHA here at the D3 level.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. Well, thank you for giving me all your guys'. Don't jinx me. Thank you for everyone. Thank you everyone giving me your guys' crowning champions for this week. Now I'm very excited for this next segment. We got the 3-point try campus roundup brought to you by Point Brewery. We got a new flavor of the month, ladies and gentlemen.
See your excited dance.
Black
It's not-
cherry
Come on, it's
cream.
not
Yes,
Concord
hold on.
grape.
Can I see you guys' excited
Come on.
dance as I pass?
It's
pass
not
it?
Concord grape. I can't be excited about it.
Fine, you don't get one then.
Okay, here you go. Dark cherry cream is made with 100% real sugar. Point Premium Black Cherry Cream is handcrafted in small batches with the purest water, all natural vanilla, and savory black cherry sweetness. I know, I didn't. There's no pop. That was for the grape. What? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We've gotten so used to it. We got a new flavor. That means a new description as well. It's sad for that, but it's a new day. We gotta try this. You guys ready?
Wow.
I do like Concord grape, but that one is still pretty good.
Hold on.
This might be up there.
At some point, we got to make a tier list.
I just
by the
drank
way.
like a third of it.
At some point, we have to make a tier
Whoa.
list of the flavors that we've had so far. By the way,
That is up there. I think that might be better than Concord Grape.
It might be.
That's crazy.
what is this? What is this?
It's
slander?
recency bias. That's not
What is this slander that I'm
I
hearing
like
right now?
Concord Grape. That's not slander. I love all Point Brewery
You're
products.
against everything Jacob has been
That's
saying.
true. You are
got a
like
problem
Yeah,
with them?
I do have a problem with Jacob.
We'll
see
deal
it.
with that later. But let's start it off.
It just smash cut to me like beat up on the ground.
I'm sorry. I like the dark cherry
No,
cream.
it's the Family Guy death pose. It's just like
Yeah. All right, well, I'll start us off with the UWSP softball team. The team is rolling with a 17-3 record, and I was surprised that they're not top 3 in the WIAC. I looked at the WIAC rankings.
Yeah.
Our conference is good in so many D3 sports, of course. In softball, it's also goated. But yeah, the team has been playing they've been playing for 2 months. They still have 6 non-conference games left before WIAC play. Conference play begins against UW Eau Claire on April 12th, which is senior day. However, not senior night. Sorry, Alex. But we've got some time before that. Until then, they face Loras College twice. The first game at 1 p.m. and the second game at 3 p.m. at home. On Sunday, March 31st. Oh my gosh.
at the same turned away.
What
He
happened?
went like that. He turned away and went, and then I looked back and he went.
Well, I held in a burp and then it exploded back. Oh, are you okay?
No, it just Don't ever describe it like that ever again. Like I held it up rib and it exploded out of me.
That could have been way worse. You flailed. I thought you were about to choke as well.
I almost did. It made me laugh.
Such a good flavor that it's killer. But yeah, that's all I've got for softball. Liam, you want to talk about our baseball team?
Yeah, so we went 4-3 during the Russ Matt Invitational. So that started, I think, the Wednesday last time we were here together.
Yeah.
Before spring break, and then now they are 4-6 overall. So they're very slowly climbing back to get over 500. I'm still hopeful they can do that before the WIAC starts. They will start WIAC play this Friday against the brand new River Falls Falcons team. Shout out William Eckstein. He is the kid of one of my dad's good friends. So
Hey.
yeah.
I only laughed because aren't they a club team?
They were the club team, but they do have some recruits. So like, it's not like they're just a straight up club team. No,
Do they have a good record?
they won the club baseball World Series last year.
Okay.
We're cooked.
Are they? No. That's club though. Are they good? Like, do you think they'll be?
I think they'll be
Competitive?
competitive. I do. I do think they'll be competitive. It remains to be seen whether or not this team is going to be competitive at the D3 level, so I'd be very excited. Notable players so far, Oliver Camden is still leading the pointers with a .429 average. He also leads in doubles with 8, home runs with 2, and RBI with 12. Tyler Soule has been a defensive powerhouse. He has a perfect fielding percentage, 2 double plays, and no errors. And then Bryce Ayer is the only one that qualifies, like he has played enough games to have his stats be official. That's how baseball works, where you have to qualify enough games to actually have your stats count. Bryce Ayer has a 2.7 ERA, so 2.70 ERA, 21 strikeouts, and just 15 hits allowed. He has a 2-0 record.
Wow. Dang. So I would say both baseball and softball teams are off to a hot start, as we expected. We kind of talked about that last time when Mateo covered them both.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a team that went to the College World Series just 3 years ago.
I know. That was the year before I went here, so I'm kind of both years I've attended UWSP. They've both been very good, and so I'm excited to see how baseball does again this year, along with softball. But then Brett, who do you got? Who's your sport for this week?
I got men's volleyball. So I broadcasted men's volleyball a couple weeks ago. They're actually a pretty good team. Like, they're exciting to watch.
Yeah.
You know, it's really fun to be there. But they have an 18-7 record overall. They just competed in the Viterbo Tri-Tournament. Is that how you say it? Viterbo Tri-Tournament, winning both their games. The first game, they won the set 3-1 against Olive Nazarene University in Illinois. Yep. And in the second game, they swept them 3-0 in sets against Viterbo University.
Viterbo?
Is it Viterbo?
It's Viterbo.
We just said it.
we just
okay,
said it, bro.
You know what? It's all right. It's all right. You know what?
Viterbo!
Because we've never ever screwed up words before. We all have. It's all right. It's part of the process.
They will play against Roosevelt.
How much time's left on the
University
play clock?
I'm glad that we locked eyes and instantly knew.
We knew
it was
exactly,
me.
yeah.
It's just like we've never screwed up words before, and I'm like,
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to interrupt, but do you know that? I don't know if I can. Pull a
Yeah,
clip
I
of
was
that.
there.
mm-hmm.
You were there for that one?
We brought.
Oh, that's right.
That's the one we were broadcasting.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I forgot Brett was because he usually commentated alongside of me, and then okay. I remember now.
So yeah, they're actually pretty good. They only got 2 games left, including this one tomorrow night. So
Really?
it ends on Friday, I think. So yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and then playoffs, I'm assuming.
Yeah. All right. Well, dang. I mean, that is that considered a spring sport, men's volleyball? Because then they start.
It's considered winter.
It is winter. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what okay, that makes more sense because why they're going in the playoffs. But thank you again to Point Brewery for sponsoring this segment. Might be my new favorite flavor. I'm not even joking about that. And thank you for all that. Let us move on. Usually first we start with the NFL update, but I feel like we should probably talk about basketball first because I feel like that's kind of everything that's going on.
NBA or March Madness or both.
Or both. Yes, they're both listed. I think we'll start with NBA just to get it out of the way because I don't have a lot to talk about. I feel like not much has happened since we last spoke. So the NBA update that I have for us, the Milwaukee Bucks have 11 games left as of recording this on Tuesday, March 25th.
Yikes.
They have 11 games left as the NBA is soon entering the postseason in a matter of weeks.
So the news of Damian Lillard's injury came out, I'd say about an hour or so after filming this episode. So that's why we didn't talk about it here. it's kind of relevant to some of the conversation we had about the Bucks, but our points still stand. Just thought that would be made aware.
The Bucks are still, as of right now, locked into the 5th seed. They're only half a game ahead of Detroit, the Pistons, and they're only 2 games behind the Pacers. So my question to both of you is, who would you rather play in the postseason?
All right, so we need the 4th. Personally, I mean, I'd rather play our first 2 games at home than having to go play the Pistons.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I wouldn't be...
Wait, okay. Oh, no, keep going. Sorry. I was just surprised.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good. No, it's okay.
Can you tell that it's our first one back after break? We gotta get back into the rhythm.
Anyways, but yeah, I just think that this team, if they overtake the Pistons back and get into that 4th seed, I feel like they'll have a way better shot starting at home, because then you can build that momentum going into the next round. Let's say you win, in 5 games, 6 games, you build that momentum going into the second round, where you're going to be obviously starting in a supposed to be starting in a road environment. I'm assuming the 1 seed, but
Okay.
that's my opinion.
I like that. Liam?
I mean, I kind of agree. The Pistons, it's crazy that they had one of the worst seasons in NBA history, and then the very next season they turned it around and are right back in the contention about that, making the playoffs. So I would say probably anybody but the Pistons. I mean, yeah, I'm being super
young
serious.
team.
I mean, they're a young team,
Young
but
teams.
they're getting hot at the right time. That's always dangerous. We've seen that across so many different sports, where a team wins big games going into the postseason, and then they just keep on going.
That's true.
We've seen the opposite of that too. Most notably, the Packers this last season, where they lost 2 big games right at the end of the season and kind of limped into the postseason.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would say probably anybody but the Pistons. Maybe a team that has a little bit of a weaker ending to their season, limping into the postseason.
You know why the Pistons are so good this year?
Why is that, buddy?
Because of the former Milwaukee Buck Tobias Harris.
So, fun fact about Detroit sports, you kind of think of them as 4 wheels on a shopping cart, where each one is taking their turn to be the really bad one that doesn't work all the way.
That's not. Sometimes it's 3 of the wheels. Sorry, didn't mean to throw shade like that.
They're aren't they all good this year? Or how are the Red Wings? I'm not.
No, the Red Wings.
Okay,
are not
the Red
good.
Wings
so
are
3
bad.
out of the 4 are working.
And then,
The Tigers are good for baseball.
Yeah.
They're not.
They were all right last year. That's
I
right.
thought they made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, they did.
So if you think about it, the Red Wings are that really
yeah,
crappy
I mean
wheel.
the Pistons were, like you said, the worst team in basketball last year.
They're the wonky wheel that's
We know the Lions are
you're
good.
moving all the time. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I was gonna say the opposite, because
You want the Pistons.
I would rather have them than the Pacers, because I
no,
just feel like
I want the
I
Pacers.
want to play the Pacers to beat them, but I feel like they're kind of becoming, even though they're in the division and the 49ers are not, I feel like they could low-key start becoming like the 49ers. I just feel like they have our number.
Like the 49.
I just feel like Indiana has
Where
our
it's
number.
that one team we can't get past.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like if we played them, that's what would happen. Especially if we get the 5th seed, chances are most likely that we're playing the Pacers, which are the 4th seed. And like you said, first 2 games would be in an Indiana environment that we've never played well at. I don't know. I mean, Detroit is a good team. They're a lot grittier than I was expecting.
But they definitely have a chip on their shoulders too.
For sure, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Well, like I said, we don't really know. We still got a couple of weeks to kind of figure that out as things are seemingly starting to get locked in. I'd also like to note Bobby Portis should be returning from his suspension on April 8th. That game will be against the Timberwolves, and that'll be the 4th to last game of the regular season. We kind of slowly mentioned it a little bit earlier on when it was still it was relevant. Now that it's been some time, I think it's crazy how many games he had to miss.
Well, we talked with Alex Strauff and
Yep.
Tony Ketteringa at
Yep.
the WBA conference, and they both commented, basically said the same thing, that it happens, et cetera, but 25 games, 23 games? It was in the 20s. 25 games, yeah, is nuts. That's entirely too much time for what honestly probably was legitimately a mistake.
yep.
And the fact that some people get suspended much less for worse,
Way worse.
way worse things, like actual bodily injury, is crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that because you said you'd rather, Liam. You said you'd rather play. What? What just happened? Where's Stefon Diggs going? Breaking news.
No, all right, fine. Stefon Diggs is signing a 3-year deal with $69 million with the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He'll be the new
They
WR1
finally
for
figured
Drake
it out.
May.
I think we should also mention that breaking news right before we started filming, Russell Wilson was announced to have signed with the New York Giants. So we're going to talk about it in the NFL segment soon. But there was a list of free agents I was going to talk about of guys that were still left.
That's so much.
Stephon Diggs. Wait, hold on. I didn't even hear the number. How much did Diggs get
3
paid?
years, $69 million for a guy that came off of a torn ACL.
Including $26 million guaranteed.
I mean, it is 3 years. That's a lot.
That's too much, bro. That's too
I've
much.
here's the thing with Diggs. He just, the second half of the season with the Bills in 2023, he was like irrelevant.
That's true, yeah.
And then last year with the Texans, he was honestly decent. I don't know. Because he's more slot. He's more slot, right?
I mean, he can play that outside role. I mean, he's not consistently in the slot. I think of like when he played for the Vikings, it was him and Adam Thielen, and right in the middle was like.
I forgot about the Adam Thielen Diggs combo.
Yeah, I think somebody else was playing slot for them when he was there. Was it KJ Osborne? Like
I
very
don't know if
start
KJ
of
was
his
drafted.
career?
I thought KJ was drafted.
Oh yeah, I feel like that was later towards.
Yeah,
know.
I'm not 100% sure. With Diggs, you're right. He's getting older. He's coming off an ACL tear. Yeah, I don't know. I like that the Patriots are making big swings, like getting Milton Williams from the Eagles. They got a couple of other guys too. They now that makes me think they're. Oh, I don't know. They have the 4th overall pick. They still could get a guy like Travis Hunter. We're doing a mock draft next week, by the way. We're going to talk all about this in the NFL section. So we're just going to postpone this. That is crazy. Anyway, back to what we were saying for basketball. That's kind of all I want to talk about for NBA. There are some other teams that I'd be worried about facing, like because you said you wouldn't face.
Yeah, but the thing with the Cavaliers later on down the line, if
I
that
was talking about
happens,
Boston,
I mean,
yeah.
the Celtics is the
Also
Celtics.
have
And it's
Rondo.
just how it's,
They're the 49ers.
It's
of the
just
NBA
yeah,
for
it
us.
really is.
Yeah.
But also the Cavaliers, they're on a little bit of a skid right now. I mean,
They
they've lost
are,
like 4 or 5 straight now.
But I think it's better that they're having it right now versus like.
You would rather have it now and they get hot for the postseason.
Yeah.
And that's across every sport.
But they were on like a 16, 17 game win streak before the skid.
It was their second 15-game win streak of the season.
Yeah.
And then they're having a skid, which is, I mean, it's pretty good. But
And with their losing streak, the Thunder hopped back on top. They're now leading the NBA with record-wise.
I was just looking at. Sorry, I was off topic.
All
But I was
good.
just looking at the Vikings roster for wide receivers. They had Laquan Treadwell as their.
What?
He was like a
Which year was this? Like 2017?
poor man's like Dontavian Wicks right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
than Wicks,
Kyle
for sure.
Rudolph was technically their like
Oh yeah,
third
Kyle
option
Ru-
guy.
when I first started
I don't
watching,
know who Alabisi Johnson is, but
Alabusi Johnson. Yeah, because he retired.
what'd you say? What was that thing you
Moving
just said?
on to March Madness. Play the theme song.
You mean March Madness, right?
I don't think it's mid.
It's-
I don't think it's
mid.
great. I don't think it's mid. I just
It's
don't
always
think
exciting.
It's been.
You're mad
very-
because you picked St. John's. Did you pick him to win it all or Final Four?
No. That's,
picked them Final
I
Four.
did pick them Final Four.
And they didn't make it
They
past
did
round
not.
two.
They did not make it past Arkansas.
I cannot. I will say I don't have a great bracket.
Yeah.
But I did pick that Arkansas would upset Kansas, and I picked that they would then upset St. John's. I don't want to say I'm like a predictor.
Anyways, I mean, I'm gonna argue that it's mid. I really don't feel like this madness has had the charm that previous tournaments
No.
have had. So in terms
But
of
mid
like,
saying it's like mediocre.
it's not great. I'm not gonna put it on a pedestal.
I feel like the first day, like Thursday, was very just kind of eh.
Thursday was
Was mid.
I was very tired because I was
Except for
I was working
Clemson.
at 5 a.m. in
Clemson
the morning,
McNeese
so I
sounds
did.
the Clemson McNeese was electric because I think everybody wanted McNeese to get that upset, and they were.
Except for our
they were.
bracket,
didn't.
Liam.
Listen. They were gonna get that upset handily by like 20 points, and then in the last
They
5
made
minutes,
six three-pointers straight. That's insane.
and then they lost by 2 points, which is very, very funny. Yeah, so I mean, I think that was the only big thing, and then day 2 picked it up a little bit, but it's the first time I'm pretty sure that there's no 13 through 16 seeds anywhere. Like, there's no, like, I think even 12 seeds. I don't know. There's not. I don't think. Who's the 12 seed into the Sweet 16 round?
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. Like, if you think
But it
about
is crazy. I think there's
Yeah.
right now I think over half of the Sweet 16 is SEC schools.
Exactly.
That is
It's
kinda
like,
crazy.
It's like all of the top 1 seeds are still there.
No, but like Ole Miss, Like Ole Miss kind of jumped out.
Kind
They-
of jumped out, sure, but it's still a single.
I
It's still
agree.
a single-digit seed. Is my point? Is that there's really not like the
Arkansas's 10th seed.
yes that
It's double digit.
It's not like
I
the
agree, it's not
Cinderella
12 or
story.
16.
Yeah, it's like that Cinderella story that people are really used to seeing. So
I mean-
it's an entertaining tournament so far. I just don't think that it's like
That was NC
what,
State last year.
Yeah, that was
DJ
absolutely.
Burns. Ooh,
Yeah.
I would like to see Ole Miss beat Michigan State
that would be awesome.
I would too.
That'd be
because
awesome.
I feel like that'd be cool. And then, I mean, now looking at it, I don't think BYU is going to beat Alabama just because I feel like BYU just had a really hot night against Wisconsin. I feel like they're hitting.
Well, you kind of brought it up, but I guess we'll talk about it. Both the Wisconsin schools are officially out after the first 2 rounds. Marquette eliminated by who did Marquette lose to first round?
It's
Lobos.
the New Mexico Lobos.
Ooh, I like Lobo from DC Comics. Jason Momoa, shout out. But they lost to them, and then Madison or Wisconsin beat. Oh my gosh, Montana.
The Grizz.
That game was not close at all. They sucked.
It was for the first.
It was
half.
close in the beginning.
And then in the second half, it was just Wisconsin.
Badgers
was
broke
like,
away,
yeah, that's
and
it.
then they got upset. I picked them. I picked that.
I think
to happen.
a lot of bracketologists did. I talked to Alex Jaffa about this too. A lot of bracketologists picked Wisconsin to get upset by, quote unquote, upset by BYU. I don't know
I
if
picked
it's
them
like
too.
something that people are picking consistently.
But
I don't
to
know
be
if it's an
fair,
upset.
Like, obviously the game ended with a 2-point win for the Badgers.
Yeah.
Watching that game, one team came out hot, like you said, Brett. I just feel like Wisconsin started slow.
They started way too cold and then
But
got hot
you
way
down
too
by
had
10.
227 points. You guys not see that? Brett, the score bug.
John,
Tajay for 412.
Dude, our
listen.
score bug was working better than theirs.
It's the first time in March Madness history that any team has blown a 204-point lead.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, all right, so I guess kind of talked about, we talked about the Tanj earlier.
The Tanj.
Great season for the Badgers, as you said. He said it! Oh! He finally said it! Come on. Rejoice! The Badgers still lost, though. Sorry.
Listen, it was very heartbreaking to see. It was just another story of them. It's been now pretty close to 7-8 years since they moved on from the round of 32. The last time was 2017, 2018. Watching Twitter, like all of the Wisconsin like Twitter accounts, I watched Ben Brust. Literally, he tweeted out, "Please find a way, please," with like 3 minutes left in the game. And I was sitting there going like, "That's heartbreaking." Do you know who Ben Brust is? Okay,
I
good,
know
good.
it was going to happen.
Good.
I knew from the game started. I knew before the game started. I picked it. But, like, let's be real. That final shot, it's not that the shot was bad.
No, but you
It
gotta
was-
give it to Tunji.
he-
Like, I'm sorry.
He was looking for the foul. Like, I don't even think the ball finished the arc, and he was looking at the ref.
If I had to demonstrate my heart and my soul during that game,
Crushing,
this is where I was
breaking.
the whole game. This is me slowly pulling away from
Within that last 5 minutes,
the last 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, we can do it, and then
we had 18.9 seconds left, missed it, got the ball back with 3 seconds left, and still missed it. We had 2 chances with plenty of
Two
time on the
shots.
clock to at least tie it.
Liam, you wrote something in the script.
Oh,
Say
yeah.
the thing about Dan Hurley, head coach of
the
Huskies. for
UConn Huskies' dreams of three-peating are officially dead.
Yes.
They lost to the Florida Gators, and then while the team was walking down the tunnel back to the locker room, Dan Hurley, known crybaby, by the way, I do not like Dan Hurley whatsoever. The people who defend him, I don't understand. He says very explicit things, can't repeat them, but it goes along the lines of, I hope they don't screw you, Baylor, like they screwed us. Replace the word screw with the word of your choice. And the journalist who took that allegedly received threats from the UConn director of athletics that he would ruin his career if he did not on release take down that video, so that situation's bad, but I think everybody's like, well, that's just Dan Hurley, and they've had enough of him at that point.
I didn't even know this.
Right, but then the athletic director, it's either the full athletic director or the director of communications for UConn. Either way, it goes from bad to a lot worse because now it's like, why are you defending your coach saying that, and why are you threatening this
that's
journalist?
Not the worst part about it. Trying to get someone fired.
to be
It's
fair,
crazy.
Looking at it from this standpoint, it's I've been in situations after a football game or basketball game or whatever where it's I'm not gonna say it on the court. I'm gonna wait till I get back to the locker room, and that's when I'm gonna be
Right,
mad at
but he
everything.
wasn't even.
He wasn't in the locker room.
I know,
He
but
was-
I feel like he's off the court. He's already getting away from the setting.
He's down the tunnel where there is still media. Like Brett, I'm
That's
going
true.
to disagree with you. He is. It's like that. It's that tunnel where there's pictures
Where
being
the
taken.
players come out,
Where all
yeah.
the players, where there's fans, wanting to get their like a high five or something signed. You go turn down in the side tunnel into the locker room. Fine, that's where you can start doing that. But he was walking down the tunnel, looking at anybody who
Yeah.
would give him the time of day to say that, and then walk to the locker room.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, a lot of people have talked about the officiating so far in this March Madness, which there was a couple of games, like the Arkansas St. John's games, there was 2 big calls that went both teams' ways that were like, that was a bad call. But at the end of the day, just like in this game against Florida, that's not why they lost. They lost heat right at the end of the game, which is the worst time to do it. And Walter Clayton Jr., like I said at the top of the show, made 2 clutch threes. And it was the same play. Like they ran the same play, and it worked both times, and it gave Florida the go-ahead lead to win it. And I'm also probably having more bias because, I don't like Dan Hurley, even though, like I said last year, I did pick UConn to win it.
Yeah.
But this year I picked the Gators to win it. I think they're going all the way.
Listen, Dan Hurley, he's the guy that you can say and you admire for having a lot of passion about it, but at the same time, if you're constantly being known as a guy who's going to cry for fouls, or every single game that you lose, you're going on media and saying, that was a terrible game, the referee screwed us, at some point you got to realize that maybe it's not the referee's reason.
Now, do you guys think he regrets not taking the coaching offer for the Lakers?
I
don't
forgot he
think
got
so.
offered that.
Well, when did he get offered it?
Before JJ Redick.
Yeah, before.
Yeah, okay. I don't think so. I don't think so.
I feel like if he was coaching the Lakers right now instead of JJ Redick, I feel like the Lakers would be worse. Because I feel like
Probably.
you can only be so successful for so long in college. Like it's not like
Unless you're Rick Pitino.
Then again, you missed the
Okay, no,
opportunity
but
of
not even
coaching
Rick
guys like
Pitino.
LeBron and now
like John
Luka.
Calipari only won the March Madness one time. Rick Pitino made it to the tournament with Louisville.
Yeah.
Like there was never. I mean, you look at the end of Rick Pitino's career in Louisville, it was terrible. Obviously, John Calipari was terrible at the end of his career in Kentucky. So.
Rick Pitino's won it twice.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
in
that's
Louisville.
what I was gonna say. It's like-
I'm just
yeah.
saying that it's like they only get like 1
yeah,
year
but the
peak.
Louisville one was vacant. I forgot about that. That the Louisville one was never mind.
That's what I mean. But like, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's different in college basketball compared to the NBA where you can be like a guy like I don't know how to, like. Okay, I'm gonna say Doc Rivers because I mean he was good to start his career, but like now it's just kind of like meh.
Curse of
Like,
Doc Rivers.
I don't really know like a comparison or a
Still,
comparison.
still never loved that the 2 moves that I'll never fully understand was, and I know the reasons why I've heard, but it still doesn't fully compute in my brain, was drafting Lucas Van Ness in 2023, Green Bay Packers doing that, and firing Adrian Griffin and then hiring Doc Rivers. I know both reasons for why those happened, but it still does not fully make sense to me.
Where is Adrian Griffin now?
Where is he?
I don't think he coaches anywhere.
Let's look. Let's see.
Really quickly, while you search
Adrian
this up, I'm just going to finish this off. We kind of talked about like some predictions. Who did you guys pick to win it all? Who did you
Florida.
pick? Florida. Good job.
So in my second chance bracket that is now
Bruh.
open, yeah, my
No,
second chance
no.
bracket.
Give me your OG. Give me your
And
OG.
my OG was Duke.
Okay.
I don't like young teams in the tournament. Where's?
I picked him 5-4.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think he has a
On
job.
the couch. All right. Well, really quickly, the women's March Madness, their tournament continues on Friday, the day this episode is releasing, and Saturday that'll be the Sweet 16, and then the Elite 8 will be on Sunday and Monday. Final 4 will be next week Friday, and championship following Sunday. I will say this was pretty crazy. I mean, there's always a bunch of blowouts, and especially like for the women's tournament. But the 7th biggest blowout in women's tournament history happened in the first round where UConn, as we were just talking about, the women's team, beat Arkansas State by 69 points.
Nice.
103-34 was the final score. That's insane.
I just thought about Giannis there for no reason.
The freak in the sheets.
Giannis, there's kids on the live stream.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. That was funny. All right. Brett, we're going to hop back up on the script. How about you give us a quick MLB update?
Baseball is back finally.
Back now.
Yeah, they started last week. Cubs versus Dodgers in Tokyo. Did not go well for the Cubs and my parlays, as the Cubs ended up getting swept.
Wait, you bet
the Cubs?
for the Cubs?
No, I bet like Teoscar Hernandez to get a hit or something like
Oh, I was gonna say
You
there's
made it
no
sound
way,
like you were
dude.
betting on the Cubs.
that. No, I'm not betting on the friggin' Cubs. What
Nice
do
save.
I look like?
Nice save.
Anyways, yeah, Dodgers ended up winning 4-1 in the first game, and then in the second they won 6-3, and Shohei Ohtani had his first home run of the year. Quick thoughts, over under 40.5 home runs, we'll say, for Shohei this year.
Over.
I'll say over. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
The only reason I'm gonna say under is because he's pitching this year.
Oh, that's right. Because he came off the. Yeah.
That's not gonna last long though. I think he's got about 2
So
years
the
left.
the thing with the surgery that he got, I remember reading this somewhere, is it's a different type of Tommy John surgery. So it's one that's
It's Tommy Johnson.
It's true.
Yes.
Anyways, so it's very experimental. It's very new, and the fact that I think this year is the first year that the pitchers who have gotten it are going to start coming back into pitching. So I think that it's supposed to be. I'm trying to think of how to word this. It's expected and hoped that it's going to make pitchers last longer than they normally would after coming off of Tommy John. So I think it's a less invasive Tommy John surgery that has a quicker recovery time. So
better overall,
it remains to be seen whether or not it's actually going to work because the pitchers who have gotten it are
Haven't played
coming
yet.
back literally this
Yep.
year. Yeah, and going to start pitching again. So remains to be seen. We have no idea.
All right.
But yeah, anyways, baseball officially for everybody does start this Thursday at 2 p.m. I wish I was part of the
We're the Brewers. Yes.
We are the Brewers. Anyways, that was really zesty, I'm gonna be honest.
On camera.
Yeah, that's all right. Keep going.
Anyways, baseball will start on Thursday for the Brewers versus Yankees. Joe Buck's calling that game.
Yeah, baby, the comeback.
This is great. I'm ready for it. Jackson Churio.
What time's that game?
30
What time's that game?
2:05 p.m.
Thursday is going to be a great game. March Madness coming back with Sweet
I'm in
16.
class. No.
Watch it on MLB. Never mind.
I'll be in class.
I was gonna say some website. But
That's all right. Instead of talking about websites, you can continue where you say. But yeah, no, Thursday, for Brewers' first game, and the fact that the Sweet 16 kicks off for at least the men's on that. I'm excited.
We're in this little golden age of like sports here. It's March Madness, baseball, and then soon to be hockey.
the best
playoffs.
time is in September.
Amen. Yes. Come on.
You got-
Are we for real? College football, NFL, baseball playoffs.
Like-
September is the go.
Or actually, or it's like it's like when basketball starts too.
For me personally,
And
it's
hockey.
probably like January.
See, I'm sorry, I'm a purveyor of this one. It's when March Madness is ending. It's when the Stanley Cup playoffs are starting. And it's when
March
baseball
Madness is
comes
ending.
back.
Best part of March Madness is like the first 3 rounds. To me.
Okay.
It's not fun when it's April and there's.
I was gonna say
the
once it gets to
championship
April,
play.
that's when
Especially the last 2 years. Ooh, who's gonna win it? UConn.
it was.
Not this year though. Woo!
Yeah, they're out. Yeah, Florida's gonna win it. Or sorry, St. John's. Sorry, Liam. Anyway,
A little roster kind of news here. Craig Yoho, he's one of the top prospects for the Brewers. He is going down to AAA to start the season. I wouldn't be surprised though if he ends up coming back up, along with
We talk about the Mark Hanna trade.
Mark Canna got traded to the Royals.
For we'll figure it out.
Cash or a player to be named.
It
later.
literally was. Here's our player, and then we'll just figure that out later.
there's another
So-
player that we'll talk about soon that we don't know the
The
contract.
only
for.
reason that's happening is because, well, they released Manuel Margot, who's also, they signed he's a veteran outfielder for the Rays a couple years ago. They signed on a minor league contract. Jake Bowers will be signed to a contract, so he'll make the roster back after being released and re-signed. But Vinny Capra, I kind of was talking about it with like Liam a little bit. That guy can hit the baseball. He will make the roster. He's 28 years old, came onto like a minor league contract last year for us, and he's been smacking the ball great during spring training.
Schmackers for sure.
But yeah, speaking of smacking the ball, Jackson Churio batting .429, 22 something. He hit 1 home run a couple days ago. He's been hitting the ball well, and I'm excited to see the second-year jump for him.
He's like barely older than me, so
Yeah.
it's crazy all the things that
I'm
he
older
could do.
than him.
Oh my gosh, you're old.
We knew that already.
You're older than Jack. I know, but that didn't compute. You're older than Jackson Trio.
So it's
You're
super,
older than a major league player.
Yeah,
Like, think of that.
it's super cool, being like, wow, okay, this kid's making how much money in the major leagues? Cool.
Now think of that, but think of Jesus Made. Jesus Made will be up in the majors in 2 years. He's 17.
Yeah, he's 17.
Yeah.
He's
Times are coming.
yeah, he is.
Dude, there'll be a day. My parents talk about it all the time where they're like, the kid's what? He's like 21. He's making how much money? Okay.
He just turned 21 too. Like literally like last week. That is nuts. All right. Well, I guess a lot of order, but we'll move on to the NFL update. We kind of mentioned it at the top, but yeah, or not at the top. Literally breaking news in the middle. Russell Wilson getting signed to a new deal with the Giants. Can you guys look up the information for that?
Yes,
Giants
sir.
deal for Russell Wilson. Then what do you guys do? We talked about Stefon Diggs. 3 years. This was 68 million, 69 million, 69 million.
3 years,
26
69 million,
million
26.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
20 million guaranteed. Yeah,
26 million guaranteed.
That's crazy. So
Russell Wilson is 1 year, 21 million, $10.5 million guaranteed.
That for a single year deal, that's pretty darn good.
that's pretty solid. I think he was expecting like somewhere between 20 to 30 million. So we got obviously the low end of that, but that's as it should be. Not only is Russell Wilson getting older, but this is now his fourth team. Can you guys believe that? Russell Wilson, this is his fourth team in the NFL. Starting.
Would you consider him now a journeyman?
What's with you in that?
Yeah,
I'm just asking. Would you consider him a journeyman? Then?
No, I feel like a
if
journeyman's
he goes on
like
one more team, I'll think about it.
Josh Johnson.
The thing with a journeyman too
That's a
is
journeyman.
you don't sign
Ryan
a journeyman.
Fitzpatrick.
You don't sign a journeyman expecting him to be, at least usually, not a starter. He's usually a backup. The only example where I can think that goes against that mentality is Ryan Fitzpatrick, but those are usually that's like a 1 year.
Fitz magic, baby.
Hey, one of the best backups of all time. So mentioning those two guys, I think I'm going to really quick go through the list of the biggest remaining free agents left over. This is on March 25th, so a couple days go by and things could happen. Offensively, Aaron Rodgers is still the biggest name, especially now that the other big quarterback, Russell Wilson, is officially off the list. Now, let's be for real. He's going to Pittsburgh. Or retiring.
Stellar's gone to Super
Or
Bowl.
retiring. Those are the only two choices. Now, there is something that came out today, which I feel like has been blown out a little bit out of proportion. But J.J. McCarthy had an on-field interview with Kay Adams. And she was like, well, now we know that you're the starter for Minnesota, right? And he basically said, no, they haven't told me that. But
You can't. I mean,
but the way he worded it, he's like, I'm glad though because I still want to fight for my job, and that's a good mentality. And the only team that I can remember that has fully said straight out right when they get a player you'll be starting was the Bears last year with Caleb Williams. Right when they not even the moment he's not even in the facility, and the team told him he's starting. What? What did you say?
I said when they drafted Justin Fields and then they
Justin Fields.
Mike Glennon.
Oh,
Mike.
was that in Fields era?
Yeah, I think it was because they signed him and then they started Fields. I think.
Oh.
Or maybe it was Mitch.
I was gonna say, I think
it was Mitch
Trubisky.
And they go, Mike Glennon, you're going to start. You're going to be the
They
next
said
face
that
of the
like-
Bears.
Remember the Nick Foles year with the Bears, 2020,
I also remember the Jaguars years. Those were very
with Nick Foles.
Yeah.
I forget. Yeah, that was after. Hey, Gardner Minshew was good.
Do you guys remember when Blake Bortles went to the
Packers.
semifinals?
Yes. What did you just call it? The semifinals? AFC Championship?
At the AFC Championship.
What was that? All right, so let's go through. But the reason why we think Aaron Rodgers is going to the Steelers, obviously last week he visited with Pittsburgh, but also barring Minnesota, which Minnesota makes sense for Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't make sense for Minnesota, if that makes sense. Yeah. They have no reason to go and get Aaron Rodgers, but for Aaron
They have said straight out, I think they've said
they
straight
said
up
that
that
they
They
don't.
haven't
They need
said.
to bring
Here's
in
the
a
thing
veteran
that
quarterback.
here's the thing that's confusing is there'll be an official report that comes out, and it's like sources said this. The Vikings have not made an official statement that they're not going for Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think
So-
they should.
They shouldn't, and they probably won't, and they probably aren't looking for him. But I mean, I saw a report today, a report that said Aaron Rodgers will reportedly sign within the next couple of days, and I'm like, Jacob Spoerl will
been saying that
reportedly
for the
go to sleep
last,
tonight.
like,
It's
3
that is
weeks.
the most That's not a
Well,
report.
First
That's
off,
not
I've seen that in the last 3 weeks. It's like we're very close to a decision reportedly, and that was 2 weeks ago. So like,
I don't buy a lot of those. Sometimes they're right. But other remaining free agents offensively, there's J.K. Dobbins and Nick Chubb. Some running backs.
they don't have enough money to pay him.
Wide receivers left. Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen still available. Defensively, edge rushers, there's Zadarius Smith, Matt Judon, corner, Asante Samuel Jr., and then some linebackers, or I guess like defensive end, Calais Campbell, and then a linebacker, C.J. Mosley.
9-year-old.
Hey,
He's
you know
older than
what?
39.
Again, a player, like, he's really old, but he's still, like, he's not as good as he used to be.
He's really old. He says it's 39 years old.
Oh my gosh, is he 39?
Yeah.
Holy crap, he's old. But he was probably besides the white D tackle.
I guess in terms of
Sports.
sports,
Yeah, I guess
He
in
was-
terms of the NFL, sure.
He was good. Like, he wasn't great, but he was kind of decent, especially playing against the Packers. Rasheed Walker had a bit of a tough time blocking him last year. So Calais Campbell still got some gas in the tank. What?
Oh, he's 6'8"?
Wow. Yeah, Calais Campbell's huge.
Dude.
He's a massive dude. Anyway.
I remember his Arizona Cardinals days. Oh,
That's crazy. All right. So, guys, obviously it's been a couple weeks. So there's more Packer news really quick. NFL draft in less than a month. I already mentioned it earlier. We are doing a mock draft next week. I'm excited for that. But, yeah, less than a month, guys. So get practicing because I don't know how many players you guys are aware of and who do you guys think the Packers should draft?
In the first round?
Yep.
corner.
Give
me a name?
Barron.
Jahdae Barron from
Yep.
Texas.
Dude, who's even going to be available when it comes down to us? Like,
Here's
if you
what I
think
think.
about it.
I think Mikael Williams is. Some Packers fans want him to be available. I don't think he's going to be available.
They're gonna trade
Mike
him.
Green will also not be available. He'll be gone around 15 to 18 range. Who?
Trade back.
Trade back.
I
No,
mean,
if anything, they're gonna trade forward. If they trade back, Packers fans
who
will
right
be going
now
crazy.
do you think is enough of a prospect for the Packers to take? Genuinely.
Either
Carter.
it's between three. It's between 3 or 4. I know. I don't know if you guys heard of this. Brian Gutekunst was the only NFL GM to visit T. McMillan on his pro day. That's crazy. Like, he's going to be the first receiver drafted in this year's draft. So, Tetaroa. I always say T.
Would it be the first time since 2002?
Not him. He's going to be gone, I think, at the
No, but they would
latest,
trade
like
up.
13.
But they would trade up.
Do you think they
I
would?
don't think so.
Again, I just genuinely right now, I don't know if there's a tantalizing enough prospect
Well, hold
for
on.
us to go.
So if Matthew Golden's still available, we can get him. But otherwise, it's probably going to end up between three guys. It's going to be JPJ, James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, who's a defensive end. Shamar Stewart. I'm one of the people that's anti this pick, and I'll give you guys reasons why next week or now if you're interested. Shamar Stewart is, for reference, his RAS score, meaning relative athletic score, has been the highest for his position in 10 years, higher graded than Myles Garrett. But here's the jarring stat, and there's more to it. Guess how many sacks he's had in 3 years?
Probably not a lot.
Not a lot, Brett.
I would say like an average, like in college, I'd say
Overall, like
the
overall.
last 3
Overall?
years.
Yeah.
Give me like 20.
20?
Less than 20.
Okay, I told you RS score was a 10. Myles Garrett scored a 9.7. Production-wise, he has had 1.5 sacks.
For 3 years.
As an outside linebacker,
As
or
D end. So there's more to the story, but I'm just saying that's an initial suspicion. So there's him, James Pierce Jr. is defensive end for Tennessee, and Jahdae Barron if he's still left. I don't think he will be. He is the second best corner in this draft.
I'm
First being
gonna
Will
be
Johnson.
in the camp that
Probably.
the Packers are gonna look for a guy, not get their guy, and then trade down.
No, they're more of a team that'll be like, all right, guy's not there, or yeah, I like that guy that's supposed to be projected in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I mean, so I
That's
gave you
our
guys,
man
so
right
I gave
there,
you guys a couple of
Rashawn
names.
Gary.
Yeah. So I gave you guys a couple of names. Lucas Van Ness.
Kevin King.
Oh, don't it! No! Don't even say it. No! Don't even say it.
PTSD. Okay. Anyway. Oh, that was loud.
What even happened?
So
in
keep those
2020?
names
I
in
don't know.
mind. Do your research for next week. As for now, the Green Bay Packers. Since this first week of free agency, we haven't talked about this yet because this happened over spring break. The Packers made another move in free agency. The dynamic weapon that we signed to be the next wide receiver 1 of the Green Bay Packers is McCole Hardman.
So on Stats with the Stats, I did the exact same thing. I played a
really?
clip and I went, ding, 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 we have our wide receivers.
Yeah. So obviously at first it sounds disappointing because as a lot of people know, McCole Hardman is.
It was disappointing.
It was disappointing to be real.
not.
However,
You're
there's
high on-
no,
I am
hold on.
McCole Hardman.
I have a reason, and I think this has been very under the radar. I haven't seen this talked about a lot. I think there's a couple of reasons why this is a more important signing than people realize. Because at first it just seems like Sammy Watkins 2.0. And literally that first thought, I was like, former
Didn't
Chiefs.
you say that?
Yeah, you literally said that in our group chat.
You were-
But there's
Sammy
more
Watkins,
to the story. There's more to the story. Not everything's just black and white. I think it's a decent move. It's a 1-year deal. We don't know the financials yet, but it's expected to be a cheaper, more of a team-friendly deal. And it's good for a multitude of reasons despite not being a big swing signing for Packers fans. Number one, what are you looking up?
We're looking up his deal.
I didn't see
come out. Yeah, it
financials.
hasn't come out yet.
So I don't think we have that yet. He hasn't officially signed with the Packers.
Oh, never mind. Carry on.
Yeah, he hasn't officially signed with the Packers yet, but he's going to. So here's why. Are you guys ready for this?
Minimum.
Did your computer just die?
Yes. Carry on.
Dang, was it phony?
Dude, because we're looking at this and we're like, all right, back to you, Jacob. Boo-doo.
Yeah, I think the light went out. Okay, so listen. Not only is McCole Hardman a depth piece for the wide receiver room that gives Packers extra draft flexibility, but here's the underrated reason. He is a decent, not amazing, a decent punt and kick returner that could hopefully alleviate duties not only from Keyshawn Nixon, but also from Jaden Reed. And this is huge. Oh, not huge, but it's kind of important because I feel like it was a complaint that people who watch Packer games understood and complained about. But after the season ended, and to be fair, I kind of forgot about this. This kind of complaint faded away, but it still stands. I don't want Jaden Reed returning punts all the time, and I don't want Keyshawn Nixon returning punts if he's the corner one, if he's playing corner consistently for the Packers.
So
Why?
about 3 weeks ago.
I'll tell you why in a sec.
Oh, sorry. About 3 weeks ago, what did I say about Bo Melton? That he was going to get re-signed, but I was thinking
You were right. He did get re-signed.
and they're going to bring in some competition. And I thought it was going to be through the draft.
Oh, I forgot you did say that.
McCole Hardman is very similar. Bo Melton. Bo Melton's the backup slot guy right now. Mm-hmm. If it's a minimum contract, this is going to be the same.
It's a 1-year deal.
Exact contract as AJ Dillon last year, where they can cut him. I guarantee it. That it's going to be the same exact contract where they have the ability to cut him, and it won't cost them a dime.
Yeah.
So I believe that if he looks good enough, Bo Melton, he's getting to
The
the
number
point
one
where it's
comment
like
I've seen on every post containing McCole Hardman
He's getting cut by week.
is he going to get cut by week 9 and then become a Chief again? So I agree. I think that he was brought in for competition to Bo Melton.
He might, but here's the thing too: is what's different from Sammy Watkins. That was a year where we were like out of receivers.
Devontae.
We drafted
Well, that was
Christian
before
Watson and
Devontae, right?
no, that was 2022. Devontae was gone.
Yeah, Devontae
So Devontae was gone. So our wide receiver core that year, our core that year was Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs. I believe we still had Randall Cobb.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
and
when we signed him.
Samori
for dirt
Toure,
cheap.
Sammy Watkins. Very random of a receiver core. It's a mix of like old gen, irrelevant, and new gen. But the thing with this, like I said, with this signing, the reason why I don't like Jaden Reed going out for punt returns a lot is because he has potential, especially now with Christian Watson being injured, to be the wide receiver one of this team. I believe it's really between two players. As of right now with the roster that we have. It's him and Romeo Dobbs, not Wicks. Not Wicks.
I think it's between three.
I don't think it's Wicks. You think it's
Tavian
Wicks?
Wicks
I think
needs
Wicks
to.
has
He has
such
to.
a good-
Yeah, but he has to fix his drop problems.
It's not just his. It's not even just his. It's not even just his drop problems.
But you can't
He
compare
gets-
them to two different people.
It's not even just his drop problems. I feel like Jaden Reed and Romeo Dobbs overall get more touchdown production, and I think that's what separates. a wide
I
receiver
100%
one.
agree. Like the amount of targets that Wicks has had, the amount of drops that Wicks has had, he puts up really good yards, but he doesn't have a lot of touchdown production.
But
would
when
say-
he catches the ball and gets all those yak yards, he performs. Like
This is true.
It shows the
He's
flashes.
also the-
I'm not
but
saying-
that's
I'm not
when he
saying-
catches
Him
the
and
ball.
Chris- him
Well,
and-
put out of the water like Jamon Moore was. Like
That's
Jamon Moore
true.
was terrible to start. He didn't show any flashes. There wasn't like, oh my gosh, this guy could be the next thing. Dontavian Wicks shows he makes plays. Like
Yeah.
that's what you want on a roster, and it's just when you have drops like that, that's all everybody thinks about. And I feel
think-
like that now the exact same thing happened with Devontae Adams. I know you're saying you can't compare the two. I feel like you can because second year Devontae Adams, all social media was, I'm going to cut Pack. Even I said I think that the Packers should got
I think
Devontae
that
Adams at the bright age of 10
you
years
need
old.
to give Wicks another year as a wide receiver, like 2 or 3, and then like
Well, yeah,
later
he's
on,
still got 2 years left.
Well, yeah,
later
exactly.
on down the season, if he's doing all that stuff and he's fixed his problems, then you can start that position battle. But like right now, I don't think that he's in the running for wide receiver
Well,
one.
you got to think about it too. Is that this is it for Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs? Like this is their last year before their contract year, so it's like you got to make one of the two is coming back. I'm assuming it's gonna be Romeo Doubs,
Yeah,
if
as much as
anything.
I hate to say that, yeah.
But it's gonna be one of the two. So your next guy up is gonna be either a guy they draft in the next 2 years, or B it's gonna be Wicks or Reed.
Hey, if we draft a guy like Emigbuka,
Emmanuel
Zika Egbuka,
Egbuka.
I can't say his name right, for Ohio State, or like Luther Burden from Mizzou. Both of those guys
Luther
right now
Burden's nice.
could be in the running for that position, and they're not even in the NFL yet. But I like them a lot as potential wide receiver, definitely wide receiver 2s, possible maybe wide receiver 1s.
No.
Another forgotten part of Wicks, but we've kind of mentioned it before, is especially his blocking and his open field blocking is arguably the best on the team.
Oh, 100%.
Christian Watson is also an underrated blocker. He's very good in the open field. He is. He's very physical with his blocks
If
and he
Watson
finishes.
was healthy, like his whole
If he could
career,
stay healthy.
if he was just healthy, he'd be our wide receiver
Yes,
one.
I know.
There wouldn't be
I've
any
been saying this.
discussion
I've been
about
saying
it.
this.
His run from that started in that Cowboys game where he
Oh
had 3
my
touchdowns.
gosh.
That run for the rest of the season
Oh
was
my.
insane. And I
Week
mean,
10, Dallas Cowboys, Christian Watson is one of the best wide
And
receivers
that's
I've
why-
ever watched in
that's
NFL
why-
history. Ever.
That's why like Packers fans are starting to take me off a little bit with our like hating on our wide receiver core is because it's just like they think of one thing and that's all they think about.
Well,
like,
that is-
Dante McNamara
yeah.
can't catch the ball. He sucks. Romeo Doubs.
That's also the main argument. Like when Mateo's been here, that's his big thing with Packers fans is they have one thing go wrong and everybody's like blow up the team. You know, and like everything needs to change. Blah blah blah. Nobody knows what they're doing. It's the worst this team has been in years.
The only time I've actually said that this team is terrible was the year that Aaron Rodgers came back after his broken
2018.
collarbone.
That was the worst
2018.
Packers
That was
season
the
I've
worst season I've ever watched from the Packers standpoint. I knew something had to change. Look what happened. Went to the playoffs right next year. Packers missed the playoffs against the Lions. That was a pretty terrible season. You had brand new wide receivers, no Devontae Adams. Next season, you come back, Jordan Love starts it, go right to
Yeah,
the
the
playoffs.
playoffs, and you win
they're
a game,
really,
too.
As I would say, out of all 3 of
Yeah.
our lifetimes, there hasn't really been back-to-back seasons where it's like, this team really sucks. We need to blow it up. There hasn't
true.
been a spot ever
Never. I mean,
where it's like, yeah, we need this
since
team needs to end.
I'd say
Late 80s, early 90s.
late 80s, early 90s, that point onwards, been very fortunate as Packers fans. Never, because I would have hate my parents talk about the 80s and the 70s with like, and they're like, that was like the bubonic plague. Like,
Yeah.
that's how they speak about it.
Yeah.
They speak about it like it was the worst thing they've ever witnessed. And I hope that we never have
2016
to.
Brewers.
Oh my
But to
God.
give some validity to some Packers fans, because while Mateo's point is still very much also valid, and we've talked about this and complained about Packers fans too, the Packers are imperfect, and I think the difference is we've gotten close a lot of times and have not finished, especially in my life.
That's pretty much just every Wisconsin
That's true,
team,
but I
though.
would rather
Exactly.
I'd rather be close than to be
for
far
sure.
away every
For
year.
sure.
But having expectations, being on the top of the mountain, and never actually taking the final step to climb it fully, that gets to you after a while. It
I
does.
feel bad, and it's like you
And it's
look
also
at-
well, it's
look
also
at
not
teams, it's
sustainable
always-
either.
Every single time we've been close, what has it been? Our defense.
Every time.
Every
time.
single time,
Except once.
except for
This
once.
year, it was not.
Okay, I would say that.
No,
I would
okay.
say twice. All right, that's a lot because
That's not actually fully true. The lack of edge rush was really bad on some
Yes.
plays.
Very
Like, 5
noticeable.
seconds of clean pocket is
that's
absolutely
true.
insane.
But
in modern
I'm
NFL.
looking at it. It's like the last few years. I mean, you had the year after we won the Super Bowl. We won, 15-1 or whatever, and then lost in divisional round to the Giants.
Yep, to the Giants.
And then a couple years after that, you had against the Seahawks. You're up, 15 points.
Forgot about the
Which
two
one? The
Kaepernick records.
onside kick or the Fail Mary? Because
No,
those
the
both hurt.
onside kick.
The onside kick.
The
okay.
Phil Mary that game was bad, but That game is important for NFL history for a different reason. That was the last game of the replacement refs. And I wasn't even like watching the NFL during this era, but it's very important because all the union of referees went on strike. I don't know if you guys knew this.
Yes.
And it went on for a couple of weeks. And the two games that really ended this strike and changed the way that official contracts for officials were made was Sunday Night Football, Patriots and Ravens. And that missed kick and Bill Belichick getting in one of the refs' faces and grabbing him as they're leaving. That was one of the moments. And the second, which is the biggest, and the reason why the replacement ref era ended was the Hail Mary game.
God,
I
hate that game.
Everybody and their mother knows that was the wrong call. And that started the Packers-Seahawks rivalry. But while that game was bad, and that game did affect the seeding for that season, it can never compare to the NFC Championship.
No,
that is the biggest bag fumble of all time.
When Bostic had the ball in his hands, that was your chance of
And there was other chances before that and after that too.
Then the next year, it was the Falcons. And the Falcons, what happened? You had your starting quarterbacks was freaking Quentin Rollins and Ladarius Gunter. And your starting free safety was Demarius Randall.
Randall.
I don't want to shout my show out. Is it okay if I do that real quick?
Yeah,
Because we talked. What's that?
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding.
We talked about it on Statz with the Stats because you were talking about Devin Williams. And I said very rarely can you point at a guy and be like, that specific performance is the reason that we lost.
No.
It's not why we lost.
Anyways. So one of the listeners, you be quiet. One of the listeners tuned in and he texted and he's like, Devin Williams, Brandon Bostick, and I looked at Brandon Bostick and I had like a moment of PTSD, like flash, like sear.
But I disagree.
No, I totally disagree because Brandon Bostick didn't play. He was only on special teams.
That's true.
Or maybe coming in at the very end of the game.
He was
Devin Williams was an elite closer for the Brewers, top 5 closer I would say of all time for the Brewers.
This is the continuing of a argument we had before the show.
You had Trevor Hoffman, you had Josh Hader. I think I don't know. Did Eric Gagne, was he a closer?
I think he was a setup.
Yeah. Anyways, but I feel like he's a top 5 closer. Or Raleigh Finger, sorry. That was the other one.
Yeah, okay,
but I feel like he was up there for one of the best Brewers closers of all time. Just you can't define a guy off of one moment. Yes, I know it sucked in the moment, but Devin Williams was one of the most elite closers in the MLB. He won reliever of the year his second year. I thought he was terrible when he came in for the Pirates his rookie season. He won reliever of the year. He was always an all-star. This guy is still a top reliever.
Yeah. Well, sure, but the thing said was you can point at a specific performance and say that's why we lost. And you
Here's
can't.
my scapegoat for the Seahawks game, though, is there was...
Are we talking about Williams or Bostick right now?
Brian, I said the Seahawks.
Sorry.
Brian Bostick. The reason why I definitely disagree with that is because, and this is true in a lot of cases in sports where there's scapegoats. And don't get me wrong, Brian Bostick he was not told to he was supposed to be on Hans' team, but he was never supposed to have the ball in his hands. It was supposed to be Jordy Nelson. So that whole situation was botched.
Because it wasn't 10 years.
But there was you can rewatch, and it's traumatic, I know. You can rewatch the highlights of the game. There was probably 10 moments beforehand.
The fake field goal.
The fake field. Yeah. The interception. That could have been returned for a pick six, but he slid with 4 minutes left.
Yeah, it brings up the other thing of you point at a thing, but also you shouldn't have let it get to that point
exactly.
either.
There's not. Yeah, that moment sucked, but it's not even just that. There were so many other things that also were really bad, but are forgotten about because that's the thing that's just that's the highlight.
Javon Williams got torched.
That's true.
Was it Doug Baldwin or was it not Lockett? Ricardo Lockett?
Yeah. Okay.
Was it Ricardo Lockett?
Good ball.
Or was it Doug Baldwin?
That's what I've seen people go back Tyler Lockett was crazy. I'm like, Tyler Lockett wasn't in the NFL.
No, it was
Ricardo
Lockett. Yeah, but anyways, it was one of the two. They ended the year. They torched Javon Williams at the end. There was no free safety help. And if I'm good with this, on the last play, when is there any safety help? Why do we not put safeties back there?
Yeah.
Kevin King.
Was Joe Barry our defensive coordinator at this point?
No.
Okay.
No. It was Don Capers.
It was Don Capers. We were before Mike Pettin. This was 2 coordinators.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no. That team just was terrible, but when we don't step up in the moments that we're supposed to, exactly. Right before halftime, Scotty Miller does a little wheel route and beats Kevin King. Where was anybody in that play?
One of the worst DB performances I've ever watched.
It's
One of the
always
worst.
the simple mistakes, and it's the same thing going back to Devin Williams. It's like, yes, you come in, you're supposed to, close out the game.
What
You didn't do
started
that.
what started this
Really
argument?
quick, right now, this is the longest recording we've ever had.
Yeah. So look, what started this argument? To be honest,
We started talking about McCole Hardman. McCole Hardman started all
so
this.
we went from McCole Hardman. I remember the track. It was McCole Hardman to the draft to Packers lore and into Brandon Boston.
We're just going to skip the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins deals. This is a fun episode. This is one of my favorites. I'm excited for next week. You guys got to get ready. You guys have a week to lock in, look at all the first-round prospects, and really think about what teams and decisions they're going to make and watch it
Like a
be.
draft board or something.
We're going to do it. Oh, like on the board?
Get one of the. I'm pretty sure we can borrow like a wheelie whiteboard from somewhere.
Yeah, like a whiteboard, yeah.
We'll have time to figure that out. I'm definitely going to have it where like Frankie did it last year where it was on his laptop screen and you guys will just be going along with it. It'll keep going. But that's for next week. As of today, thank you everyone that's watched this video. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for help, Will. But from all of us here at SportsPoint, we'll see you next time.